Hello there, I'm Kaden Manpour, and I am reviewing the 6th episode of Peacemaker Season 2, which I know I say this a lot, but this was definitely my favorite episode of the season, with a lot of laughs and one of the most obvious yet well-done twists of the DCU. I have heard so much hype for these last 3 episodes from early critics, and, well, James Gunn himself. He's been very adamant about how cool these episodes are, and now I get why. And that opening where the smiles of the family start to dissolve to foreshadow nothing is how it seems, and goes with the title Ignorance is Chris, which is of course a play on Ignorance is Bliss, was really cool. I also noticed that ever since Vigilante broke down in tears in episode 5, he has been showing more and more emotion. When he yelled at his mom, that was probably the most emotion that has ever been shown for him. But I am glad that they kept him still a lighthearted character with a ton of laughs, which I will continue later.
Facing the country isn't bad enough. He also wants the alligators in the sewers to be junkies.
You're a moron.
We also got a great look at the new world, which continued the trope from The Flash where everything is backwards.
Is very famously played by Michael J. Fox.
The guy from Footloose?
No, that's Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon's Maverick with the volleyball, the gay guys in the planes.
Top Gun. Great balls of fire. Top Gun.
They didn't revolutionize rock and roll the way that Mick, Paul, George, and Ringo did.
Mick?
Jagger? Lead singer of the Beatles?
To having the first mention of Chris's mother, which led to that funny post-credit scene. I will admit, there always seems to be something off with Chris's brother, and I'm glad that my senses were accurate. But you know who has much greater senses and gut feelings than I? Batman. Which leads me to my next segment, Batman, where are you at? Where I ask the question, now that Creature Commandos confirmed that Batman is in the DCU, I really have to ask, where he at? Like I said in past videos, Flag has kept everything with Peacemaker under a lot of wraps, even for Batman.
No, I mean the other thing.
Save the city or catch your greatest enemy?
You think you're my greatest enemy?
Yes! You're obsessed with me!
No, I'm not.
So I understand why he wouldn't be doing anything to stop Flag from doing anything dangerous. And I'm sure that the top trio in Earth X has prevented their Batman from interfering with their world. But in a recent interview with Screen Crush, Sol Rodriguez mentioned that her character, Sasha Bordeaux, has a lot of connections with Batman. And she was actually one of his love interests, which between Vicky Vale, Selena Kyle, Chase Meridian, Andrea Beaumont, Rachel Dawes, Talia al Ghul, and now it's Sasha Bordeaux, Batman has more relationships that suddenly end than Spider-Man. Anyways, Bordeaux also has some connections and is even a love interest with Mr. Terrific, so I know that we will be seeing her a lot soon. And while the actress said she doesn't know anything about the future of Batman, I wouldn't be surprised if her inclusion in the show, to paraphrase very famous Batman actor Michael Keaton, will have something to do with Batman, I think. And that was Batman, where are you at? Back to the actual show. When Vigilante finally met his alter self and started talking, I don't think I have laughed the way I did watching that scene in a while. But now I have to ask, so Spider-Man is now canon to the DCU, I guess? Like, it was a hilarious moment with the pointing, but it brings up a lot of questions. But not as much as Superman being canon to the MCU, so I guess I'll let it slide.
Jack, that's Superman! Jack, that's Superman!
Jack.
Now, the highlight of this episode for me was seeing Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor return to the DCU.
Hey, I may be ugly and hate-filled, but what was the third thing you said?
The cane, of course referring to this iconic moment.
Then...
Which, by the way, this is like the only character I didn't predict being in the show between Superman and G.I. Robot, or literally any other Creature Commando. This still totally threw me off, but I really enjoyed Holt's performance, even though it was short, and I can't wait to see him in other projects in the DCU. In fact, I kinda would very much prefer if he plays Beast in Doomsday, more than Kelsey Grammer. Holt was Beast longer and did better things with the character, but that is for another day. Though while I did kind of predict that there might be something off with the world being only white people, I did hear the popular theory that Vigilante was leading the Sons of Liberty and definitely supported it, but there wasn't enough evidence to mention it in a previous KCondo review. But I wouldn't have an alternate Vigilante any other way, and I can't wait to see how this all wraps up. Now on to my theories. Now that Lex Luthor has become an ally of Rick Flag Sr., the possibilities are limitless. I know that I discussed this in a previous video, but James Gunn himself has confirmed that the events of Peacemaker Season 2 will affect the DCU with a lot of consequences and will affect the Man of Tomorrow. So it is very reasonable to ponder if Lex will build a giant robots and suits similar to the ones that we saw Flurry wearing in the trailer, and might even get away with building a really big green robot suit, which we saw him wearing in the concept art for Man of Tomorrow, and will break out of jail.
Escalation.
We start carrying semi-automatics, they buy automatics. We start wearing Kevlar, they buy armor-piercing rounds. And you're wearing a mask.
Or maybe that is too much. Either way, what did y'all think about Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 6? And this is KCondo saying...
You stay classy.